Hello and welcome to this Erosion Masterclass with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB, you're very, very welcome. Right, Erosion Masterclass, what we're going to do is we're going to give you more realistic hills and coastlines. If you're used to building maps with hills and coasts that look like these, then you're in very good company because we've all done it and there's nothing wrong with it. There is nothing wrong with it. In fact, you can get smooth coastlines, but usually they are where you have a nice big sandy beach, because the sandy beach is absorbing the pressures of the waves, etc. And you just end up with a like nice smooth. I'm sure we'll do a beach tutorial in the near future. But for now, we're looking at the actual shape of the landscape going up from the beach into the land. And this is fine. This is fine, especially for in terms of city building. You don't want it to be too rough and undulated. But what we're going to do is we're going to work with this map, a map that I made myself for this tutorial. Now, I'm going to link this into the description, so feel free to pause the video, go over, subscribe, launch your game and play along with me. Or you can obviously catch up later. Don't be building a city on this map though, because there's no highway connection, there's not even shipping lanes. This is just for this tutorial. So yes, the three islands I've just randomly created. They are a bit on the blobby side. I haven't made them too stupidly mountainous or anything like that. It is for the intention of just playing about and putting in some realistic erosion. I think what we'll do is this one over here. We've got the biggest of the three hills over here. So if you want to work with a hill, put some erosion to a hill, that's probably the one there for you. We're going to work with the middle one, and I think because it's the coast nearest to us here, we'll work with this little coastline here and the peninsula around here as well. Let me just go and put the lines of terrain on for you there so you can see. As you can see, it was just very quickly drawn and sculpted. No real time or thought put into this, because that's what we're going to be doing now. Now, like the realistic river tutorial I did, and I'm not going to repeat the whole process of that because I'm sure you all remember your water cycle, but we're going to again be the raindrop today. If you're a raindrop, you landed here, it would draw you down into this area here, and then probably form some sort of stream or river down here. So you might have a river coming out in this kind of direction here. Maybe, or it might lead out this way. I mean, it's down to you to decide how that would work. But we're not doing the river today. What we're doing is a river, but without any water in it, because it's the same process. Trying to guess where, if we were a drop of water, where we would run to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick those lines back off. I'm now going to launch the terrain editor, the landscaping mod into here. Boom, and we're in. We're up and running. We're going to mostly be using the shift terrain tool. We might use one of the others, but definitely the shift terrain tool is a big one for today. We've got brush sizes. Now, we could go up to 2000. 2000 is basically the size of a tile. That is way too big for our purposes. I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll run down to about 150. So I'm going to type in 150 there. For brush strength, we're going to go really low. I'm going to go for 0.03 for the first couple of strokes, because anything more than that, we could be. Then if I go up to the maximum brush size, I'll just show you. If I do a little tap of the right mouse button, and we end up with that going on. We don't want that going on. What we want is a nice gentle control. So I'm going to go down to 0.03, and the thing with 0.03 is we can go over and over, probably even with lighter settings than that, and slowly, gradually erode the land and hopefully end up with a more realistic coastline. Let me just move the speed up a bit, because the work I just did there, excuse me, should always stop the simulation. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. But yes, stop the simulation, and so you don't get any problems with water. I'm going to restart just to allow the water to move. Right, in fact, I'll have it running anyway. So, what we'll do is we're going to start off by being a raindrop about 3/4 of the way up the hill. very broad brush, so we're a big old raindrop here. And what we're going to do is we're going to right click and draw a straight line straight down into the ocean. So you ready? 1, 2, 3, and straight down into the ocean. Going to do something similar around here. So about there and straight down and out. And we can do a third one over here, straight down and out. Probably one there as well, and out. So, right, we've already got a bit of shape to our coastline. Now, it's not very accurate, but that was just a big sweeping motion that's meant to simulate all the rain from hundreds of years landing in this area here. What we're going to do now is we're going to switch this down to a smaller brush, about an 85, I think. I'm actually going to drop the brush size, brush strength down a little bit as well now, because we don't want to have quite so much impact after that broad stroke going down here. So again, I'm going to do the same thing in the middle and a quick stroke down with the right click. Right click, stroke down again. Right stroke down again. And we've got this little one over here as well. Cool. And we're going to drop the brush size down one more time. We're going to go a lot smaller to about 40. I'm going to leave it at 0.2 though. Now this time, because we're down to a 40, you can see we have got much more control over the areas that we can go into. We're not covering the entire area. We are still very much focusing on this, getting all the water going down into these gullies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, I think if I landed here as a raindrop, I would probably come down this route. So again, and again from over this side. And I'm going to do the same over this side. And into that one. This guy can go and drop round to there. Accuracy isn't important. It's wherever your heart and your gut feel that a raindrop there and down and through. And a raindrop here, down and through there. And with this one, again, starting out wide, coming into the middle. Starting out wide, coming into the middle. Right, so we now have a little bit more texture. So it's not just a straight line going up the middle. We have coming in from each edge as well. I'll drop that down even more to about 20. And we're going to do exactly the same, following down the middle of everything that we've just done. So we've got one coming down there. We've got one coming down this way. And right clicking. What I'm doing at the moment is all right clicking. So we might have missed this one on the second trip, but I'm not so worried. It seems to be like a minor little cove going on there. And then over to this side. Just following the areas that we have already drawn through. Right click and drag, and probably right click and drag down the middle there. Right, so that is step one. I'll come out of here and show you it in camera mode, free cam mode, so you can see what we've done in the 3 dimensions. Already we've got the coast that now is looking and feeling much more realistic. We're not quite there yet though. Because while this is a lot more realistic, what we need to do is water. We've got erosion, soil, etc., being pushed down this way. But what it'll actually leave a little bit of sort of like wake down the side. Into wake isn't the word, but runoff, where you're going to get soil it's going to actually push down this way as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm now going to use the same tool, but I'm going to be pushing upwards rather than downwards. So back into the landscaping tool. There we are. And again with the shift terrain with the low brush 0.2. So we're going to go slightly larger brush back up to about 40. In fact, we can probably bring it up to about an 80, I think, for those 70 will do. And yeah, 0.2 is going to be fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push up from the sea. I'm not going to go all the way up the hill. I'm just going to go to about the, what's this, a 10-meter line mark here. And I'm just going to release. So coming up here and releasing. Up here and releasing. And then around here. And we'll come over to this one. And that side. Now you don't need to go all the way up to the 10-meter mark. I mean, I am just doing a speed tutorial here just to sort of like give you the idea, give you the skills to work with, and then you can go in and then can actually work your map yourself by hand in a way that you'll actually be more comfortable with. So let's come back out of that one and show you where we are in real terms. Back into the free cam again. So we've got a lot more interesting shape going on. But we've only done a couple of sweeps. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to sweep in again with a smaller brush. And this is all right-clicking rather than... Sorry, left-clicking rather than right-clicking. Because we are now elevating the terrain again. So I'm going to do back into the shift tool. Smaller brush. Back to a 24 maybe. And what I am actually this time going to start from the terrain and move down. But I'm going to choose the areas that I work with now because I want just to add to the terrain to be a little bit more interesting in certain areas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down a little bit more. This down a little bit more. Again, all I'm doing is just a little bit of dragging down these particular areas, which will give us a couple of coves as well. Around here. Just working with the areas that are sticking out the most, making like an extension to the peninsula here and there. All on the low brush setting. Right, now, then you pull back and you have a look and say, right, is there anywhere which is just still looking a little bit too, I mean, boring or whatever. Like here, now, what we have here is an area where you go, hang on, if I was a raindrop falling here, I would try and come straight in. So I'm going to do a drop, a right click down this area here. Just gives us a bit more of a cliff effect there. Again, here we've now got an indent here. So I'm going to right click and draw. I'm going to be the raindrop coming down into these areas here. And we've got a little bit of an indent there. So again, we can be the raindrop coming into this area here. This side, this one here. That's cool. And we've got a little bit of a spot there that I feel that would be just eroded away there as well. I think we have ourselves a more realistic coastline. I'm definitely liking the shape of this. Now, of course, we've got the whole island that we can work with, move our way around, slowly but surely finding our way. But yes, you can, if you've got a hill that's taking up, I'll be back into this terrain mode. Like here, it doesn't have to go all the way down to the coast. So what we could do is we could add terrain lines in here just to make this hill feel a lot more realistic. I think we'll do a few of them. Why not? While we're here, let's do that, shall we? Get back into the terrain tool. And slightly larger brush. +3. I'm just going to draw this down to the flat basin. Let's do a couple of... Imagine you're drawing a tree. There we go. Because the water, yeah, these water erosion lines are basically tree shape. Like rivers are basically tree shapes, aren't they? Basically. And then we're going to do a slightly smaller brush. And this is all speed. In fact, that would not go that way. Getting a bit carried away here. That would come down this way. And all we're doing here is just drawing the lines where the rain would most likely fall. Like something like that. And then these areas that I've managed to level into slight hollows and stuff. I make the brush size a bit larger. And slightly stronger brush as well. And with any luck, we'll have just a slightly worked back out of the terrain tool there. You can't really make it out without the terrain lines, but you can spend time working on your hills to get the same effect. But it certainly works really well on coastlines. Anyway, that is going to be it for me. I've hopefully given you something to work with. We will come back and do beaches in an upcoming episode. And that's it for this little masterclass. Hopefully your coastlines will be a little bit more interesting. I've been BonBonB. You've been very, very welcome. And I'll see you very, very soon.